All right, today we're looking at a rare breed of technologists, one who's been forged in that collision between deep fundamental systems knowledge and this relentless drive to actually build for people. This is the story of Neo Samarjan, a true systems architect. So, what really forges a systems architect? I mean, it's not just about writing code, right? It's about being tested. It's about being broken down and then rebuilt from the ground up with a gut-level understanding of how things actually work. It's about grit that's been forged in the fire of real, painful challenges. And for Neo, that fire, that drive, it all comes from this core mission. He believes our job here is to push our own potential for the maximum benefit of the world. That's the why behind every single thing he builds. It's not just about what can be done, but what should be done. Okay, so to really understand the architect, we have to go back to the beginning, to the crucible that made him. And his story starts with this almost classic pattern, right? You've got this unbelievable raw talent, but it's colliding head-on with some massive personal challenges. Get this, 25. By the time he was just 13 years old, Neo had already built and launched 25 online games. I mean, come on, most of us were still figuring out how to play games. He was actually building them. This wasn't some weekend hobby. This was the clear mark of a natural-born systems builder. And yeah, people absolutely took notice. He was getting profiled in national magazines. He became one of the youngest finalists ever in the Indonesian ICT Awards. And this whole journey started when he was just 9, tinkering with MIT App Inventor. The guy was on a fast track from day one. But here's the thing. Behind all those public wins, like becoming a national spelling bee champion at age 11, there was a private war going on. Neo was diagnosed with Asperger's, and he struggled with social cues, which led to just relentless bullying in middle school. And that experience, that hardship, it didn't just forge talent. It forged empathy. It forged an absolutely unbreakable will to succeed. So how does that raw talent and incredible resilience turn into world-class expertise? Well, definitely not by taking the easy path. Neo forged his own way, a path designed for one thing and one thing only: deep, uncompromising mastery. So after getting his foundation in homeschooling and doing some academic exploration up at Quest University in Canada, he made a strategic pivot. He decided to skip the long traditional route and instead hyper-specialize in the two pillars of all modern tech: high-level data science and the absolute bedrock of computing, low-level systems architecture. And just look at this combination. It's so powerful. On one hand, you've got the IBM data science cert. He's mastering the entire stack, learning how to pull strategic insights from data. But on the other hand, he dives into the deep end at 42 Singapore, mastering raw C and C++ to understand how machines actually think. It's the perfect fusion of high-level strategy and low-level execution. It was at 42 Singapore where everything just clicked into place. He was tasked with building a shell terminal, the command line, from scratch in raw C. And by recreating that single core component of an operating system, he said he saw these, quote, glaring vulnerabilities in the very baseline level of a lot of our digital systems. She's not just talking about application bugs. He's talking about the cracks in the foundation, systemic memory leaks, fatal flaws hidden deep inside the infrastructure that everything else is built on. For him, this isn't theory. He's literally seen the code at the machine level that can cause catastrophic failures. Okay, so you take that deep technical insight and you forge it together with his early life experiences. And what do you get? You get a powerful, driving mission to build systems that aren't just technically brilliant, but are fundamentally human-centric. He actually turned his personal challenge into a superpower. At Clivio Coder Camp, a place he helped found, he realized that he could connect with autistic students in a way nobody else could. His own experience gave him this unique empathy, allowing him to, in his words, go past the socio-psychological barrier and really empower these kids with code. And speaking of intense, let's talk about 42 Singapore again. That program is a pressure cooker. It's designed to break you, and it has a crazy high dropout rate. Neo, though, he was consistently pulling 80-plus hour work weeks. He wasn't just surviving in there, he was thriving under that extreme pressure. So what does that tell you? It screams extreme grit, unwavering perseverance. But here's the real kicker. Even in that intense environment, he was taking the empathy he'd learned and using it to mentor his colleagues, helping them survive the most demanding projects. He doesn't just build systems, he elevates the entire team around him. So, this unique mix of grit, empathy, and deep technical skill, what does that look like when it hits the real world? Let's talk about the impact. Let's look at the projects. I mean, just look at the sheer range here. For Scala, he built a data system to streamline communication for farmers, directly improving their lives. Then he completely pivots and builds a predictive model for SpaceX, hitting 70 to 80% accuracy on launch viability. And of course, that Shell terminal project, which proved he has total mastery over a core digital infrastructure. And this quote right here about the Scala project, it says everything you need to know about his motivation. He called it the first one I made that felt like it had a real live impact on people's lives. For Neo, that's the real metric of success, the human impact. All of this brings us to the one huge problem he is perfectly positioned to solve: technical debt. You know what I'm talking about. The long-term cost of choosing the easy short-term fix instead of building it right. Because he understands systems from the ground up, he sees the hidden costs of those shortcuts. His whole path has been about choosing the harder, better, more resilient way forward. And this really is his core conviction. In a world of fragile, often disconnected technology, he believes that hiring someone who actually cares about people is vital to the sustainability of our societies. It's a powerful idea that to build systems that last, you need architects who care deeply about the people they're building for. So, let's be direct. If you're looking for more than just another developer, if you need a true systems architect with the grit, the depth, and the human-centric vision to solve your foundational problems and build systems that will actually endure, you should contact Neo Somardanjan. His email is nsomarjan@gmail.com, and his WhatsApp is +62 821 7304 2001.